Welcome to Mr. Mover Manager Help. Today we're going to talk about the customer pricing window. The customer pricing window is used when you are charging the customer on an hourly basis for services performed. The first area of the form is where you identify the number of movers or packers, the number of employees that are going to be needed to perform the service, and you indicate that with the number field here. You'll notice that mine defaulted to 3 men. There is a setting in the software where you can set the default number of men that will fill in when you create a new window here. The rate is coming from the daily rate section of the default area, where you can set up rates based on the day of the week, and it will automatically fill in the rate for each employee that's being used on the job. The discount rate is the rate after the discount, which you can see right here. If you have a discount in here, it will affect your daily rate, which will then change your discount rate. The type of mover that's going to be used by default is just called mover, but you do have the ability to create a list of specialty employees, and you can also when you select these, you can set different rates. So a systems furniture technician has a rate of $40 per man per hour as compared to a normal mover, which comes from the daily rates. So you do have the ability to set special rates for certain titles of employees. The second section is the vehicle section. This is where you indicate how many vehicles are going to be needed for the job, and again the rates come from the daily rates section. Same with the discount, and just like employees, you can have different types of vehicles, and with that, just like an employee, you can have different rates. So let's say for a pack van, the rate is only $20 an hour instead of $28 an hour. So let me just take a little break here and show you where you can set up those defaults. So under Administration, Lists, Resources, Resource Type, this is where you can build your list of either vehicles or employees. So when you click New, you can give it a description, whether it's an employee description and what their new rate is, and whether this description is an employee or a vehicle. That then will get added to the list, and you can see the different rates that you can set up. To change or set up your daily rates, you go to Administration, Daily Rates. And this here allows you to set what your employee rate is, your vehicle rate, your minimum number of hours per day, as in your date range, and then set your rate, and it will automatically fill in. So this is where you can set up your rates that you want to charge per day. Okay, so let's get out of that and go back to our customer file, add a line again, open up the form. The next section is the job rate. Now by default, the software is going to take 3 times 28 and 1 times 28 and calculate your job rate for you of 112. If you want to change this, you have to check this box, which basically tells the software, ignore what the formula is up here. Now you can type in anything you want in here. But if you don't check the box, it's not going to let you change it. The discount job rate will calculate based on the discount rate just like before. The hours, this is where you input the estimated number of hours that you're going to charge the customer for the task that you're performing. So you can type in, you have to have 4 digits, it has to be a 0900. Minimum per day comes from the daily rate section, but you can change it. The task field is used normally when you're doing something other than a standard local move, point A to point B. You have the ability to identify what this crew is doing in relationship to the total move. You can create a list that you are able to select from, and this list is, you can make it as long as you want, but it saves you time from having to type over the same thing all the time. So you can create that, or you can simply type something in. gives you complete flexibility. It just won't save it to the list. If you want something new to the list, you have to drop this down and click Add New here, and that will then be added to the list. Okay, you don't have to have a task if you don't want to. The lower section of the task function, these options change depending on where you are in the software. Right now we're on a local move, so your options are load, unload, or hold. The reason why we need these, even though you have the task function, is if you want us to print out load dates and delivery dates on local paperwork, you have to tell me if this date is for loading and delivering or just loading, and that way I can capture that information and print out your load dates and delivery dates. So in the menu bar we have Save and New, Save and Close. Save and Close is if you do not need to create any more crews for this particular day for this job. Or you can click Save and New, and it will enter in the information into the table for this day, July 31st, 2012, and it opens up another window allowing me to create another crew for the same day. An example of when you might need to do that is if you are doing a job where you're going in the morning and removing carpeting, and then later in the afternoon you're going to come back, or I'm sorry, removing furniture so they can recarpet, and then in the afternoon you're going to come back and move the furniture back onto the new carpeting. You might need 2 crews, so you'd actually create 2 lines in here, one for each crew, so that when it gets passed over to dispatch, it will break out into 2 lines and he can dispatch onto either the same crew and on different parts of the day, or 2 separate crews. Well, that's everything about the customer pricing form. I hope that helped.